Hello everybody. Well, my part has finally arrived so that I can finish off putting this rear wheel back into the swing arm of my CTX 200 with the CRF 230 engine. So this wheel, the CTX 200 wheel, I've replaced the bearings and the oil seal, and she's good to go. I had a lot of trouble here with my brake shoes. I fitted new brake shoes, but the spindle shaft in here, the actuator shaft that turns to expand the the brake shoes, it was completely seized inside of the aluminium. I had a heck of a job trying to free that up, remove it, and re-lubricate and get that working again. So that took a while, but that's all good now. Here's my new sprocket that arrived. I'm using a 43 tooth. I've got a 13 on the front, on the engine is a 13. So I think with my CRF 230 engine, that should be a reasonable ratio to at least get me started anyway. It'll be a little bit on the high side, but I think with the 6-speed gearbox, I think we'll be okay down in the low range anyway. But it should give us some reasonably good high range results. So here are the details of the sprocket that you need to know if you want to do this for your CTX 200 rear wheel. I got this out of the UK. It cost me £19, which is around about nearly $40 or so New Zealand, with free shipping on eBay, so that worked out really well. So 42 tooth, the pitch is 520. It looks like it was for the CBF 250, but it's just perfect for the CTX 200. Sometimes called a Bushman in some parts of the world, especially South Africa. It's a 5 stud, and the hole for the stud is 10.5 millimeters. 64 millimeters is the inside hole. That's the diameter for the inside hole that goes over the hub, over this part here. And the distance between the holes going across through the center of the sprocket is 96 millimeters. My old sprocket is in very bad condition. You can see how it's all hooked on the sprocket teeth. It was absolutely finished. There's no way I was going to put that back in place. The bushing system is fairly crude. For what I'm used to with other dirt bikes, that just slips in there. That's a bushing. You can actually extract those and put new ones in. At this stage, I'm going to leave those as they are. Sprocket then slips over. Goes on nicely. There's the sprocket, followed by the washer there, and then followed by the circlip. That's how I'm going to install it. Okay, once I get my circlip pliers. 5 studs, and I'll lubricate these up nicely before I put it all back together again. So that's that. It's a bit of an update on where I am at the moment with replacing the rear wheel. Of course, this part here will spin around and be going on this side of the swing arm, and my brake hub is on the other side of the wheel. Ordered a new chain, and I've been working on the side stand that was in fairly poor condition, so that is all now ready to go. So I'm going to install the rear wheel, lower it down back onto its wheels so I can roll it around a bit easier, make a bit of room in my shed. On this side of things, I've been fiddling around a little bit with my exhaust studs. I've got a really nice header and muffler that's all ready to go. One of the last videos I said I was having a little bit of trouble with the carburetor. I've overcome that now. This manifold boot here is going to be fine once I get it all boxed up and give me a nice clearance for the carburetor to sit within the frame. Remember, on the CTX200 the carburetor actually sits outside of the frame here. This part here bends inwards, so I don't have to fiddle around with the frame at the moment. I did tidy up my bolt here. It had been given a pretty hard time on the end of the thread, so I fixed all that up with my grinder so that I could put the nut on nicely and complete off that section of the swing arm spindle. So I'm really happy with the progress that I've made, although I haven't been working on the bike much lately. I've been fairly busy at work and little distractions here and there, such as my new daily ride here. I was getting a little bit tired of driving my little Yaris, so I decided to move on to a Mercedes-Benz. I wasn't really planning to, but this was a really good deal that I just couldn't pass up on. One owner from you bought it off that owner, so I had a good chance to chat to that owner about the history of the vehicle. It's a 2004 C-Class C180 compressor, so that means it's got the supercharger and it goes very nicely. It comes with the black leather interior, and I'll do a separate video on this car a little bit later on. Very pleased with it. Love the colour. The colour is actually called Fire Opal, which is a beautiful colour, especially in the sunshine. Oops, sorry, too much sun there. So that was a small distraction for me, but I've got over that now. It is nice, it's going to be a nice daily driver for me. My other little distraction was that I couldn't really live without a trailer, so I ended up getting myself a new trailer, second hand of course, but it's a galvanised steel trailer made in a company in New Zealand called Bryford. That is taken from the name Brian Ford. He's a trailer manufacturer in Christchurch. So I'm very happy with my trailer. I'm going to put my my holder there for the front wheel of the motorbike. You've seen that on other videos. I'll set that up in the front, and across the front of the drawbar I'm going to put a nice box. You can get these trailer boxes that I can lock up and keep all my tools in there for when I go out on the dirt, trail rides, etc. So yeah, it's a nice sunny day here in Auckland today. We have had a lot of bad weather, but not too bad for this time in August. But my main priority at the moment is to fit the rear wheel on the bike, get that all in place so I can lower it down off the stand, and tidy up things in my garage here a little bit so I can get this bad boy inside. I did say in one of my other videos about my homemade workbench. It has been quite windy, so I did put a clip on here to stop it blowing away. But this is my homemade workbench, now completely covered over with a new barbecue cover, which is what I intended to do initially. So a barbecue cover for 4-burner barbecue hides that little homemade workbench nicely, keeps it out of the weather, and it's nice and secure there as well. Okay, thank you for viewing, and I really do appreciate you subscribing to my channel, and I hope to get some more soon, once I've fitted the wheel and chain and lowered it down onto the ground again. Definitely hoping to go for some riding on this within I think I'd say about a month. I'm pretty close to it now. I'll be just working through the electrics, getting the wiring harness all connected up, and put some oil in the engine and turn it over, and hopefully we'll get some good results with the engine starting. Oh, that's right, I still have to fit my front brake caliper, bleed the brake, and get that part all completed off. But pretty much now I've got all the parts I need to get this bike running as a project, so that I can move it on to the next owner and look around for another project to get into. Okay, this is John from Auckland, New Zealand. I'll catch you in the next one.